realized that we were live there for a second because I was waiting for the drop to fall, but there's no drop. We are joined tonight by Sarah from Hold My Guns, Ghost Tactical, G-Webs. Other people are probably going to be jumping in. And I just wanted to kick this off by saying thanks for watching. We are going to be talking about something that's going on in my hometown of Washington, D.C., called the Second Amendment, a rally that's taking place on November 2nd. I know Sarah's going to be there.
Yes.
Ghost, are you going to be there, or G-Webs, either one?
I am far away.
Don't do that.
Yep, same answer.
All right, so you guys might not be coming. Sarah and I are confirmed for being here, so we will be here. Basically, what this is, it's a rally for Second Amendment activism. There isn't one person leading it, and there's not one organization leading it. Even if you go to the website, you're going to see basically almost nothing about it, about who's running it. And that is intentional because they don't want to take the focus off Second Amendment. It's a single issue rally. So it's not going to be about other issues besides the Second Amendment. Sarah, why do you think it's important for you to go?
That's a great question. So many reasons. First of all, I think that we have an opportunity to just show up and to let people see our faces. And, so many times when there are things going on, we all rally together online, and we all will, send a letter to someone, or, they have like the template where you can put in your email address and you can, kind of copy and paste or put your own words in. We're all really good at doing that. But I think just to show a face and not just deliver a page of signatures is really important. It's also really important for me to meet you guys and all the folks out there that we know and love online, and to just create some unity there and some connection. And there's just a great sense of when you're interacting with people in person that just is so motivating. And I really hope that this becomes a catalyst for some change. I'm excited that it's in our nation's capital too.
Yeah, it looks like we were just joined by Obnoxious. Obnoxious, are you going?
Yes, sir. I will be there.
Awesome.
Why is it important for you to go?
Because I'm hoping that we get enough people there that we actually get some notice from the people that we've elected, and that they realize that whether we have 5,000 there or 10,000 or 100,000, that behind us there is an undisclosed, unknowable number of people that support us getting there. That just because I'm there doesn't mean it's just me. It's everybody that watches me, everybody that follows me on Instagram or anything knows that I am there and that I am fighting for our Second Amendment rights.
All right. And Budget Guns and Gear Reviews. Are you going?
You bet I am.
And why is it important for you to go?
Because I believe in putting my money where my mouth is. Earlier in September, I was at a rally in Columbus, Ohio, in the state I live in. And while I was there, I said that it's no longer good enough to let somebody else sign petitions. It's no longer good enough to let somebody else make phone calls, write letters, send emails, and go to rallies. I am somebody else. You're somebody else. Everybody out there is somebody else. It's up to us to stand up and fight for our own rights, because no one else is going to do it for us. We have to do it. There has to be boots on the ground to show these people that we're serious.
Well said.
Yeah. Gun websites, G-Webs. You said you weren't really sure if you're going to be able to make it or not, but why is it important for you to try to make it?
Doesn't matter if I get there. What's important is that this is an opportunity, right? So I think everybody's going to have different points of view on this. I like to look at it as an opportunity that we haven't had in my experience, 15 years of wishing for something that could bring the gun owners together that isn't under the banner of like NRA, GOA, FPC. Not that those aren't valid organizations, but to show that gun ownership is the common thread. It's not a political thing at all. No party, no politician is going to be involved at all. This is a time which no one could have planned, but is part of the reason it's happening. The NRA is faltering. The NRA is, depending on who you talk to, falling apart, burning down, or great shape, depending on who you talk to. But in any case, the antis are going to be holding the situation at the NRA up on a poll next year during the election cycle. And that's an election cycle where the boomers are going to be handing off their influence, about 20% of the voting influence, to the Gen Ys who have never voted in a national election before. So if you can remember your first time voting in a national election, it's significant. And the antis are going to be holding the NRA's head on a stick and suggesting that this is important for them to change the world. Do they like to change the world? So let's show them that there's other ways that they can change the world. And one of those involves their own individual liberties and not selling out their liberties along with their parents and their descendants. And as these kids are getting older and becoming parents and families, hopefully we can appeal to some of that. And by standing in unity without any flag above us, without any banner other than the Second Amendment and individual liberty and freedom, and what that guns represent, that we're not fixated or obsessed with them. What we're going to show to them and the others out there is that there's significance to firearms, and it's not just a casual obsession with a piece of property. The result of everyone getting together is going to be, like Obnoxious referred to, the idea that we're working together to even get there. As people have said, when we're there, we'll have the ability to, since there's no agenda other than to listen to some people and gather, we're going to use that opportunity to assemble and chat and inspire and motivate each other. And everyone's going to come home the same time that, same time it took them to get there in anticipation. They're going to come home with a sense of accomplishment and a sense of motivation that they're going to bring home. And the ripple from that is going to be amazing. The people that are going to get there are going to have cameras, phones, and the ability to use them. They're going to have means of distribution of information out there that people are going to be eager to consume. And that coverage is going to be 100%. So if the media, when they come there and they try to suggest that it's smaller than it was or it had less significance than it was, if they try to force a perspective through camera or manipulate it all, we have the ability, we know going into it that that's their goal and that's their stat, that's their typical go-to. So we have all the power to challenge all of that ahead of time. It's an opportunity to get people there. All the challenge that it is to physically get people there. It's the opportunity to be there, and it's the opportunity to have a world where this event can potentially change it. If you think I'm crazy, change the channel. If you don't, get on board. Get there or get somebody who should be there. Get to your gun. Let the industry know. Sorry, I'm not done. Let the industry know that they can be involved. If there's someone going there, let's say that there's a shooting match, like a state level match. Do gun shops effort to get their team there? If there's some 4-H event and they need to get to Texas to compete, are they going to get them there? Let's get motorcycle clubs there. Let's get people that own RVs there. Let's get people like gun shops and ranges to rent vans and get people there at dozens at a time. Let's bring organizations that at state levels and at areas of interest and send people there. If your IDPA team goes and travels to the state match in another state, this is maybe an opportunity. If your hunting group gets together and has a hunting trip every year, maybe this is an opportunity for hunters to stand with competition shooters and people who are only interested in Second Amendment advocacy and survival of violence, or people that just care about laws, or people that just care about machines or innovation. Okay, now I'm done. Thanks. It's an important event.
Man, that was a major mic drop right off the bat.
Boom. There it is.
Okay, we're done.
And Ghost, you have
And
to follow.
we're done.
Why is it important for you to try to get there? You got to follow that up.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
I have to follow G on that. My gosh, everything that everyone has said so far is right on the money. But I look at it from a different perspective.
Just make a little up arrow. That's all you got to do.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, everything that's been said is dead on the money. But I look at it also a couple different things. This gives the community, the culture, a chance to be our own gun lobby. And I love the hashtag of "We Are the Gun Lobby." I love that's been going around. But understand, this is also not a pro-gun rally. This is a Second Amendment rally. This is more of the Constitution. This is more about who we are as Americans, not just because we're gun owners. There can be people there that do not own a gun but support the Constitution, and that's just as important as anybody else there. If they support the Second Amendment, they're a gun owner, then that's just as important than them holding hands with us saying, look, we are not with this group, but we believe that the liberties and the freedoms that our forefathers and our founding fathers gave us, or actually protected our inalienable rights, are just as important as any other. So I think that it's a constitutional thing. I think it's an American thing, not just a gun thing.
Very, very good. I'm going to be there because I have no excuse not to be there. I live about 30 minutes out, but it's more than that. It's very important for me to be there to show that we are united as a gun culture for the Second Amendment. There is a huge misconception that the gun culture cannot come together. And I think that's what a lot of the anti-gunners are counting on, is that we never come together. Really hive mind type people, being gun people and Second Amendment advocates, we're more of the, I guess you can say, individual liberty type person. And I think that everyone needs to get there. So I'm going to kick it back over to Sarah. We know why it's important for you to be there, right? What hope comes out of this rally?
You know what? You kind of did a weird electric noise in my headphones. Can you just say it one more time?
What do you hope comes out of this rally?
Wow. Well, I think the biggest thing is a sense of unity, and kind of like what Ghost was saying too, like how, you know, there's just, and what you were saying, and what G-Webs was saying, everybody's awesome, but just that there's this misconception that the 2A community isn't united. And I think this is an opportunity to show that. I think I have a lot of hope. I love what G-Webs was saying about how, you know, we have this new generation of kids who are going to be voting. My son, he's 18. He's going to be voting for the first time. It's so exciting for our family. And so I think that we have an opportunity just to kind of, you know, just reach out to people and show them that we're not this scary group of people, but that we're Americans, that we love our country very much, that we appreciate our rights, and that we want everybody to have constitutional rights. And I think, you know, when you send that message of truth, it really resonates with people. And when you go there joyfully, and when you are excited about this cause, it resonates with people who are not just necessarily in the gun community, but it's a shout that resonates across the world. And that's really my hope, is that we have an opportunity, like G-Webs was saying, you know, to bring our cameras and to show the world what it really looks like. And we're not just gun culture, but we're Americans.
Yeah, that is one of the good things that we can show people, that we're Americans. G-Webs, I'm going to leave you for last so you don't blow everyone else away, man. I'm going to kick it over to Ghost. Ghost, what do you hope that people get out of this? Not necessarily people that are there, but just people in general. It could be on either side, the pro-gun side, the politicians, the antis.
Yeah, I hope that people understand that this is important to stand up for what you believe in. And this is going to kick off the 2020 election cycle. We're talking November 20, we're talking a year away from the 2020 election cycle, where every single House of Representatives seat's up. Half of the Senate seats are up, and obviously the presidency is up for grabs. You're talking about a possibility of reshaping and renaming what the Constitution looks like if the wrong people are elected. So if nothing else, if they get there, they hear about this and it gets them fired up, then they can go and start trying to find their candidates over the next year, candidates that line up with their beliefs. And I don't care who you vote for someone who lines up with your beliefs. And the strongest message we can get out of this is we're in Washington saying a year from now, we're going to pick our representatives, not our leaders, not our lawmakers, our representatives in this country. And if you don't take that very seriously, then don't show up and don't do anything, because you don't matter to this country. You have to elect your representatives. So maybe I'm hoping this kicks off the 2020 election cycle to get people start thinking about who they want to vote for.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'm going to kick it over to you, Obnoxious. What do you think? What do you hope that people can be anywhere from the anti-gunners to the pro-gunners to everyday citizens just walking by? What do you think that? What do you want them to take out of it?
Well, it's kind of, I guess I blew my load on it when I said, the reason I was going is that I hope that they see us there and they realize that that the NRA isn't some strange amorphous entity that's out there in the existing in a vacuum, that the NRA or the GOA or the Second Amendment Foundation is everybody that's there at the rally. It's not just some organization out there. It's people at the rally. It's the people that aren't at the rally, that they can't just look at the NRA and go, well, that's the NRA, because we're the NRA, we're the GOA, we're the Second Amendment Foundation, we're any one of the organizations that are out there are representative of us. And that hopefully they realize that, like I said, if it's 5,000 people or it's 10,000 people, it's 100,000 people, it's 1 million people. I'd love to see, one of those last two numbers there, but who knows what we'll get there until we get there.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion, no matter how many people that are there, that we can use it to whatever our advantage is. But a lot of people that I've been seeing online are saying, I'm not going to go because not enough people are going to show up, which I think is a defeatist attitude. Do you think that they're going to hit the numbers that they're talking about? I know they're talking about like thousands and thousands of people, but G-Webs, do you think they're going to hit the numbers that they're talking about?
Man, I don't know. It's unprecedented, so I don't even know how to gauge like what we would use to factor. I mean, even if we were able to like know all the chats like this one where people are in there and you had some kind of spreadsheet using like CIA tech or something to like keep track of it, I think that'd be tough. So I don't know how to anticipate something that really hasn't been done. I mean, maybe it would be I think you'd have to put a poll up, right? Maybe that's an opportunity to put up a poll on some tool, Facebook or whatever, or YouTube. Google has those polls you can make pretty easy, and then just start throwing some polls out to see what people think, and maybe get some idea from that. Like how many people are going 10, 20, 100, and then maybe tally that. But I don't even know how to start. That's again an opportunity / challenge of something like this. Now I know there's no organizers. There was some people that started it, right? They asked some people who knew what's going on to get the ball rolling, and those people are doing what they can to step aside so that it just becomes a thing. This isn't like the beginning of a yearly event or an annual thing. So it's not as though the event itself is going to do anything to facilitate, that, or to record info that we can use for a later one. So that's going to be another, like I say, opportunity / challenge for the community to realize that we don't need a Facebook to organize stuff for us. It was possible for in 1977 for the guys that organized the people, because it wasn't just guys that organized the October Revolt or the 77 Revolt from the NRA. They did that all before the internet. We don't need these tools. These tools make it easy for us. But when we sit around getting whining because we're getting ignored or blah, 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 I mean, big deal. Let's get on past that. The internet is a tool, but it's not our crutch. So I think that's a great question, but I don't really know how to answer it. I hope they said it's going to be 10,000, 20,000 people. I hope it'll be that many.
Yeah, I hope it is too. Matt Best Cowboy from our Facebook chat room brought up a good point. One of the prime excuses that he's hearing is people are saying, "Oh, I'm not allowed to carry in DC, so I'm not going to DC." How would you respond to that, Ghost?
Who cares? I go a lot of places that I can't carry. I carry everywhere that I legally can. If you're not legally able to carry, then don't carry. But carry a pocket knife if you're worried about being unsafe in Washington, D.C. There are other ways to protect yourself.
By the way, so don't bring a pocket knife.
You can't carry pocket knife and deep. Well, then just hope
No.
you're good with your fists, or hope you're going with a group of 4 or 5 people. But having the not carrying thing is absurd. I mean, honestly, that's just me. That sounds like an excuse. If you're so die hard on not going anywhere you can't carry, there's a lot of places in your life you're not going to be able to go. So that's on you.
Cool. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. I'm gonna kick it over to let's go do budget guns and gear review. Are you planning on getting up here early, or are you just gonna come up for the day and leave?
I am heading out from my friend's house at about 4:30 Saturday morning because unfortunately I have to work Friday night. Otherwise, I would be there Friday. But me and 5 other people are going to head out from my buddy's house on Saturday morning at about 4:30. It should take us around 6 hours to get there. So we should be there by 11. Account for traffic to get to where we're going to park. So maybe 12:30. Fortunately, the Airbnb we rented is about 7 blocks from the Capitol. So we should be able to get to the rally in plenty of time. Then we're going to stay the night, do the tourist thing for a day or so, then come home sometime Sunday evening.
Yeah. I know KD is saying that he's going to cook the first 15 people to book an airline ticket breakfast, and I'm somehow supposed to be involved in that. I'm not really sure how yet. Well, I wasn't really my idea. It was just, hey, look.
The problem when you start getting connected with Carrie and KD, they're gonna throw your name in to do a lot of stuff. So be careful with Carrie.
Yeah,
I love Carrie, but she's a big idea person.
Yeah, I've known her for a while. If you like this stream, you can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/John Crump, or you can do a really cool thing and buy some popcorn at crumpy.com/scout for the Boy Scouts. It's for the troops. And also, anybody who spends $100 or more on popcorn, first, let's say 5 people, I will buy you a GOA membership for 1 year, which is kind of cool.
Fantastic.
G-Webs, I'm going to kick it over to you really quick. You are making a guide called the Shooter's Almanac. You're trying to get it done by the rally.
Yep.
Is that intentional?
Well, yeah, that kind of happened because I just found out about the rally too. Can I go back to somebody who suggests that they're not going to do the rally because they can't carry in DC?
Absolutely. This is Monday Night Mayhem, so you can do whatever.
Right on. So I've had that somebody suggest that already, and I don't think we need to. Let's see, if we were selling something and we were starving, we wouldn't take no for an answer, right? So if we care about the person, and this happened to me, somebody who I seriously care that I want to be there, blew it off that, I can't carry in DC. So, okay, so if you can't carry in DC, that's valid if we're talking about going on vacation to DC. But if we want to change the fact that you can't carry in DC, how do we do that? So I think what Ghost just said, or people go into no carry zones all the time, quit acting like you don't, because you don't. And this is an opportunity to change it. So that's an easy answer. I believe it's just a dismissal. And that's probably, I think, and the way I took it from this person was that they didn't understand the significance of the rally. So I doubled down on my reasoning for the rally and not blowing it off that like, this is just another excuse to go to Washington, D.C. Therefore, you're going to say no because you don't feel like going to Washington, D.C. This isn't an excuse for a vacation. This is a destination that, just like the Gun Rights Policy Conference, which intentionally travels to each year to some, alternating between states that are pro and anti, it's intentionally going beyond enemy lines to show support and solidarity with those that live behind enemy lines, and also to have the event in a place that's uncomfortable and significant. But anyway, so I think it's definitely worth addressing and not just letting somebody out with that excuse or that blow off that like, this isn't our rights in the Second Amendment, or what that are permitted or protected by the Second Amendment aren't significant enough for me to be a little bit uncomfortable or do something that's outside the norm. And to suggest that DC is so dangerous that you can't go there armed is ridiculous. Every single time I've been to DC, I've had to be unarmed, and I'm still alive. So Anybody you can prove that's been there and got killed, I can prove that I've been there many times and I'm not dead. So you can exist in the world without a firearm on. It is possible, especially when 10,000 or 20,000 alert friends are going to be standing around you. I certainly hope we're not vulnerable in a group of 10,000 people.
I would like to point out that this is probably going to be one of the most heavily policed events on the planet. I mean, we're in the Capitol, on the ground,
by the actual
U.S.
police,
Capitol.
By the actual Capitol Police watching us and watching
Exactly.
Yeah.
That brings up a good thing, a good point. One of my friends who really wants to go, he's not able to go, even though he lives like 5 minutes away from there, and that's because his ex-wife is a U.S. Capitol Police, and she is working the rally. So there will be people there. There will be a lot of police there. Obnoxious. So you're coming up, right? I think you were mentioning that you were.
Yes, sir. And just to expound on what G-Webs was saying, I make every human effort to avoid places that are gun-free zones. And I have absolutely no use for DC. That's probably the only place other than Chicago that I have less use for, because I'm in North Carolina now. I was originally right outside Chicago. I am going to the rally. If I'm going to the rally, I'm willing to leave my firearms in Virginia, because I'm staying in Virginia the night before. Then anybody else can get off their butts and go to the rally. Not being armed going to this rally is not an excuse for anybody.
I totally agree. Sarah, I wanted to go back to you. Can you let the people know how they can register for the rally?
Sure. If you go to 2arally.com, there, I believe, is registration on there. Come put me on the spot here, John. But I believe that you can register.
You're right. It's right on the front page there.
Yeah. So you can go and put in some information, and that will probably give an idea ahead of time of what the crowd size looks like. Something, that's important to talk about too is like, I'm a range safety officer, and so I actually just got home from work, and just because you can't carry doesn't mean that you're not able to carry a med kit. So just keep that in mind too. We never know what's going to happen no matter where we go, and there are definitely ways that people can still be helpful and alert even if they're not physically carrying a firearm. So hey, bring your med kit, and make sure you bring water, things that are common sense for a large crowd in DC. I don't know. So, John, can you tell a little bit more about how it's organized? We talked a little bit about there'll probably be security there. It's not everybody's been to DC before. Will there be like bathrooms? Will there be food opportunities? Do you know anything about that? What's it like for the crowd?
Yeah, there's tons of bathrooms everywhere in DC. Food opportunities. There's food trucks everywhere in DC. It's literally every block is covered in food trucks, especially around that area. So if you want to eat something, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to eat stuff. There's also really good restaurants there. Not too far away is Founding Farmers. If you can get in there, if you're staying on Sunday and you can get in there for brunch, I would highly recommend doing it, because it's probably the best brunch you've ever eaten in your life. So yeah, there's tons, and make a weekend of it. Come out here and just sightsee on Sunday. Stay through Monday and just take all of Sunday and just see the sights. There's tons to do, tons to see.
Hang out with John. Yep. I think you're buying, right? Didn't you just say you're buying everybody brunch, John?
I'm pretty sure that was Budget Guns and Gear.
Oh, I heard.
My bad.
I definitely heard that John was buying brunch.
If
for
there's
everybody.
free
Your
brunch,
budget was doing it.
I guess I am going then. I didn't realize it was free brunch.
Yeah. A lot of people that I've talked to are scared because there's no information on the website of who is organizing it. And like I said before, that is intentional by the organizers because they don't want to take credit. This is a one-time thing. They're not organizing it again. It's this year only. If someone else wants to step up and organize it, they can. My question is, I'm going to kick it over to G-Webs for this one. Do you think it's a good idea just to make this a one-time thing, or do you think they should make it every year?
Yeah, I think it's probably, I think they thought this out. These are, when we find out the deal, and they're just trying to not keep it a secret so much as just keep it non-affiliated, right? So from what we understand from a couple off-air chats, it was strategic. So I believe that it was necessary to do it this way, because there's so many of us that, we're herding cats. So we can use a laser pointer, we can use catnip, we can use cat food, but we're not trying to manipulate here, or we're trying to get people to actually work together. So I think that instead of a lure, or instead of a bait, or instead of a payoff, it's designed to be something that just exists. It's official enough to be legitimate, and then evaporate, so that just like any what's the word, like when you're doing processes in chemistry or something where you need to get something from here to there, and you use that medium for it, the alcohol medium, and it evaporates. That's what it's trying to be, from what I understand. They're just trying to create a thing that then the result is all the people that effort, all the stuff we've been talking about, it's a catalyst for all of these things that'll happen from it. Like you say, if somebody wants to learn from this, I mean, this is we got, the way I'm looking at it, the way we're going to plan it is, we got this week. Every single day, we hope to come up with a real actionable item to get manufacturers, gun shops, people in subsequent industries, not just holster makers and ammunition makers, but maybe somebody that runs an exhaust shop in town, but they're gun people, or maybe somebody runs a saddle shop. I'm out in Tucson. Maybe somebody does leather work or something, but they are into the hunting or the shooting sports. Like, let them know that this is the kind of thing, like a Woodstock for music. This is something for liberty. This is like a Woodstock for liberty. So if they want to be part of that, how to get them on board. So we're going to spend a week on just strategy, so that people can take that for the next 2 weeks and act on it. And then that gives us each a week to travel. So again, if it's getting a motorcycle club mobilized to get there with their loud Harleys, or their loud, I don't know, the other kind of motorcycles or whatever there are, getting a car club there, whatever it happens to be, getting a shooting club there, it gives them a week to get it off the ground, 2 weeks to get motivated and figure out plans, and then a week to travel. You're there, and then, whatever, get home. Now, I think as procrastinators, most of us are procrastinators. We live that life. We're good at it. This isn't unreasonable. It might seem shocking and strange, but I think it's necessary to have it on a one thing like this. And I think you didn't ask, but I think it's necessary to have it with just weeks away. If they would have planned this 6 months away or a year away, it would never come to pass. 200 people would show up, and everyone would consider it a laughing stock, and they'd never attempt it again. I think the only way you can make a bunch of cats want to do something is put some meat behind bars and make them work for it. And that's what they're doing. And it's not being handed to us. We're going to be stronger from this whole thing. It's not just like, all I had to do was sign up and pay $30, and my hotel was registered, and I went to the airport, and my reservations weren't there, and it all gets lost in details. Instead, it's going to be an opportunity again for us all to get there, make it happen out of nowhere with no travel plans and no, what are they called, travel agents helping us, and then coming back stronger, more unified than we'd ever been before. We're going to meet people that you can't even imagine. Can you imagine when hunters and competition shooters and CCW and victims and cops and military and collectors and the rich investors and the industry and whoever else shows up there all gets to meet in an environment that isn't SHOT Show? It's not NRA Show. There's nothing else there. The only reason they're there is to show this the what happens when a bunch of us get together, and then relish in that communication. So I think it was vital for it to be a one-time thing that just happens. And then, just like if it was a giant Petri dish of liberty, these organizers came by and they touched it with the little tiny pin of individual freedom. And we're going to see what that catalyst creates. We can either watch nothing happen and be satisfied that we've had the best seats in the house, that we have the worst system ever and everybody's horrible, or we're going to be part of using all these tools, getting there, accomplishing it, and living in a world where that's happened. So I think it was necessary to happen just once.
All right, I'm going to kick it over to Budget Guns and Gear. What's up? You got a point to make?
Yeah, it kind of dovetails in with what G was saying about unity, and also about the comment that you posted up here about extremists and whatnot. I think that I would very much like to see somebody who's up there on that platform speaking make the point that these rights that we're talking about aren't just for us. They're not just for, white guys. They're not just for guys. They're not just for conservatives. They're for everybody. Every single person on the face of this earth has this right. They're the rights of straight, gay, Christian, heathen, man, woman, white, black, even the people that are going to be there protesting. We're up there fighting for their rights too. It's universal. It's everyone. Duck hunter, tactical, from the most funniest duck hunter to the most tactical guy dripping in body armor and magazines, and everybody in between. That's who we're up there talking for. That's who we're standing for. That's who this is about. All of us, everybody. And I hope that somebody up there talking makes that point.
Yeah, I think Maj Torre is talking, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be making that point if he's talking there. Sarah, you brought up a good point in our side chat about Americans being concerned about their rights, even non-gun owners. What rights should non-gun owners be concerned about, or what should they be concerned about?
Well, a hot button issue right now across the United States is red flag laws, and whether or not a person actually owns firearms. There's a lot of concern about law enforcement showing up at police, at people's home at 5 o'clock in the morning, and coming to confiscate lethal means. That's a concern because whether or not they know if a person actually has firearms or some kind of lethal means in their home. Red flag laws are something that would allow for police to come and show up at your house. And a lot of people are really concerned about that. That's something that we're talking about almost every day with Hold My Guns. And, Americans really want to have a say in the kind of treatment that they have. They want due process. So all of these issues that we're talking about, they all tie in together, and we need to really do our part as Americans to protect our civil rights. And I honestly think a lot of Americans are waking up. They're realizing, wow, if they can just come in and show up at my house and take away my property and there's no due process, I'm in trouble. And it really doesn't just, it's not just limited to firearms. And so we have an opportunity to stand up for our rights. And those rights, they're secured by that Second Amendment. We have the ability to protect ourselves. And also people are waking up to the idea that that the ability to protect ourselves is really important. That's, with sadly all the tragic shootings that have happened, the police even have been nearby and haven't been able to get there fast enough to stop an active shooter. And, the concealed carry permits, those numbers are up. The number of firearm purchases, those numbers are up. So I think despite what the media is trying to portray, I think Americans are concerned about their safety, and they are stepping up. So,
yeah, I agree. I'm going to go to Obnoxious now. Obnoxious. We're seeing a lot of people saying that the gun community is fractured. Do you think the gun community is fractured, or do you think it's just an overblown reaction or something that the anti-gun media is trying to sell?
Well, I think the NRA is in trouble. I mean, that's pretty much a given. I don't think anybody in here is going to argue that. I mean, there's some of us in this room and some other people online have been, against the NRA here for a little while, and whatever your reasons are for that. But is the community fractured? It's a community. It's, we're not all of the exact same political ideology in this community. We're not all the exact same color. We're not a big homogenous unit. We're all separate. There's some people that are, as G-Web said, you've got the hunters, you've got the concealed carry people, you got the people that are, going to be all tacked out and wearing their plate carriers and everything else. Hopefully not at the rally.
No, don't worry. Don't worry about the rally. Body armor is illegal in DC.
But are we fractured? We're not any more fractured than any other giant community is. I mean, if you look at it and they say, what, 30% of households say there's a gun in them. So there's, potentially 100 million gun owners. That's huge. I mean, there's going to be different factions in there. So are we fractured? Yes, but not any more than any other huge group of people is going to be.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely see it that way. And I'm a GOA rep. I'm the state director for GOA for Virginia, and I don't want to see the NRA go anywhere. One thing that I do find troubling is people who, in the gun community, who are actively rooting for the downfall of the NRA, which I think is a totally bad thing to happen. Ghost Tactical, would you agree with me, or would you disagree?
No, I mean I am not an NRA member and I haven't been for a while, but I have been yelling at the top of my lungs for a long time that we don't need the NRA to go away. We need to rehash from the ashes and figure out the new vision of the NRA. But this also gives our community a really good, once again, we talk about taking it into our own hands. We have been on the sidelines, and I say we as a community, not the people in this room, but as a whole, the vast majority of people in our community and culture have been sitting on the sidelines, much like they have been with their elected politicians, is I'm going to give my money or I'm going to give my vote, and they're going to take care of this for me. This is a great opportunity for everyone in our culture and our community to take it back to ourselves, to the grassroots of each individual gun owner, and say, no more am I going to allow anyone to send my rights down the river. I will help these organizations to help facilitate lawsuits. I will help them facilitate exposure, and I will help them facilitate lobbyists if we have to take care of that. But on the grassroots level, we have to be our own lobby. And that starts at your local, with your local sheriff, your councilman, your mayor, your state representatives. Make sure at the grassroots level that you're electing people, even at the sheriff level, that are going to promote and protect your ideals and your beliefs. Don't ever allow someone down that you've never met to take care of it for you. Yes, send your money to the GOA, SAF, FPC, NRA, wherever and everywhere you want to. But if all you're doing is writing a check and letting it go, you're as much to blame as anybody.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I don't want to see the NRA go anywhere, and a lot of people do, which I think is kind of pathetic to kind of wish for the downfall. Roger Frame brings up a very good point in our Facebook chat room. He says the people who are worried about not being able to carry, who want to carry in DC but can't, are the ones that need to be able. He says the people. Let me just read this. Sorry. He said the people who that want to be able to carry in DC need to be in DC, which I totally agree with. Do you think that there is a type of I don't know, a lack of I would say an apathy, and people think, well, someone else would do it for me? I'm going to kick this off to G-Web when it comes to advocacy.
Oh yeah, for sure, because it's it's like politics, or one of those things that we're in play conversation. We're not going to talk about necessarily just even talking about the NRA. There's people that will suggest that the NRA is just fine, that CEOs paying a lot of money is just the way it happens, and that people that get concerned about it aren't aware, and that I'm not saying but the people that are concerned about the NRA are manipulated by the Trace article, or by Bloomberg, who created something out of nothing, and there's a bunch of concern about nothing or some ulterior motive. So we can get divided about stuff on our own. Sorry, what was the question? I went off on the NRA and I lost where we were.
No, it was apathy of people thinking that someone else will do the advocacy for them.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I can't even tell you how many times. There was apathy at the end of 2013 after Obama came out after a horrible thing, which was unprecedented again. I mean, think about 2012. It wasn't that long ago. Something happened in 2012 that just changed everything. And then we had a new president who had something to prove. We had a Congress who had no reason. There was absolutely no reason to suggest that anything he wanted to do was unreasonable. There was very little official questioning of his methods or his intent. And the grassroots that stopped that was, again, unprecedented. But because we were still kind of fledgling, not just in social media, but as a community, Dead Horse said it great out there. You know, we've always been, I don't want to say fractured either. We've always had diversity. We've always been what are we, the second largest sport on the planet, shooting sports? I mean, a lot of people have firearms, so that means there's a lot of differences out there. Fractured would mean that we're attacking, we have problems with other. I mean, aside from like fun animosity with stuff, there's very little like actual conflict inside the community. So when we started to see the grassroots resistance come up out of nowhere, we just didn't have anything to preserve that. There was nothing to keep that level of push or pressure there. So it disseminated again, but it showed the sleeping giant for what it could be. And there's efforts that started then. But when we see something that significant come out as a challenge to individual liberty and freedom, specifically 23 proposed executive actions from the executive branch of our government, basically to create law in the wrong branch of government, turning the whole, balances all flippy-floppy, and everybody basically being willing to be okay with that, and no constitutional challenges to the idea that he's going to do these by executive action. Like, well, you had a crazy set of circumstances there, and a sleeping giant, which is a whole bunch of people with valid individual self-interest, right? We all want to just live, and we want our family to live, and we need our family to live in a community. We want that. The communities need to live in a state. We want that. We agree that we have a government that leaves everybody alone. That's fine. But we have self-interest, and that self-interest grew, and it resisted that tyranny. And that significant event had apathy within 12 months. So to find apathy today, when we have no serious, like Hillary with fangs and blood in her teeth or anything, like we don't have that. We have Trump, who's kind of like flipping pancakes, and every once in a while, one ball's on the ground and nobody gets upset. Like, we've got a different situation here. So, I mean, you can't force somebody to care, but you can go do something significant. And once that has happened, you've changed the paradigm. You've changed it, because now there's another bar. There's, as the waves are going, when something catastrophic happens and changes the beach, that's what we're talking about doing here. So yes, people are apathetic, but they don't realize the power of the individual. Those are people that don't understand the power of assembly because we've never assembled. So yes, we're apathetic, and we have a tendency to be apathetic, but we're not doomed to that. We do have tech. This is an internet. How many years later after Sandy Hook, after 2013? Try to remember what phone you were using in 2013. Most people had high-speed internet, but not everybody yet. Consider what kind of content. Did you go to the movies still in 2013? You're probably using Netflix, maybe, and Amazon. But were you streaming stuff yet? I mean, the world is different now. So, well, we had things back then that allowed apathy to happen. I hope that now we have the experience of 2013, and this is a unique instance that allows us to unite behind something that isn't partisan or anything else. Like, you can't go, oh, I like that, except it's NRA. The only thing you can say is, oh, I like that, except that it's individual freedom and liberty. I like that, except that it's solely about the Second Amendment. I mean, literally, if you're saying I like it, except, you literally, the only thing you can say is that it's in DC, or it costs a lot to get there, or, had something else to do that day.
All right, I'm going to kick it over to Ghost. Go for it, Ghost. You had a point?
Yeah, I mean, I love everything that G just said there, but I wanted to add something to that because he brought up a word. He said a tyranny. And you're talking about 23 executive orders that were proposed by Obama in 2013. This is exactly why the Second Amendment was created, because our founding fathers remembered what a monarch-run country was when there was one absolute power. There was a government that did not care about its people if you did not agree with the King of England. So the Second Amendment is not just about self-protection. It is absolutely about the people being able to protect themselves from a tyrannical government. And that's exactly what happened in 2013. Not saying that the country was attacking its citizens, but politically you had a president who thought he was above the law, that proposed 23 executive orders that were unbelievably unconstitutional. Unbelievably. And the people stood up without their guns, but as the gun people showed the government, no, you will not treat us like second-class citizens. That is what the Second Amendment, above and beyond anything else, is above self-preservation. It's above everything else in my eyes. It is there for us to stand up to a government when we feel like the government is oppressing its own citizens. So that is, in the purest form, in my opinion, why the Second Amendment is so strong.
There's an old saying that says the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I'm going to kick this over to Obnoxious. Do you think that the anti-gun people make so much noise, that's why everyone thinks that they are the authority on gun issues and gun violent issues?
Yes. Are you looking for more than a one-word answer?
It's
because that's it. There's a one-word answer to that. Yes, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and they are by far the squeaky wheel.
Well, let me follow it up. How do we change that?
We have to be the squeaky wheel, and this is a good start to squeaking.
All right, that worked.
I mean, most of us here, in one way or another, are already a little bit of a squeaky wheel. I mean, everybody that's got a YouTube channel or an Instagram page that's devoted to either guns or the Second Amendment or politics or something is a squeaky wheel. And whether you've got an audience of 100 or you've got an audience of 100,000, your voice is out there. So
go ahead, finish.
So as I've said many times, and you know, most of these guys in the panel know me, I've said this. If you've got a cell phone, you've got the ability to get out there, and you know, it's tough as hell turning on that camera and making that first video. It really is. And there's still times where, you know, I don't want to turn on that camera and make that video, but I make them. I mean, I made one today that I really didn't want to make, but I made it. And I'm hoping that it gets the word out there and it helps people besides me, because today I had my first negligent discharge.
Oh,
yes. So I could have taken that and filed it away, but I made a video. I put it out there. I flat out made a mistake. No two ways about it. There was nothing accidental about it. It was negligent. And if I keep it and file it away, it only helps me. If I put it out there, maybe it helps one other person. Maybe it helps 10 other people. I don't care. I'm okay. I've got a little bit of a drywall repair to do. That's it. And I had to clean my shorts.
All right. Yeah, I just want to say I suffer from generalized anxiety disorder and stuff. So I don't really like people, or I like people. I don't like being around people. But I started writing and also doing videos now because I feel so strongly that I need to do something for the Second Amendment. But talking about the squeaky wheel, I'm going to kick it over to Sarah. Take it away, Sarah.
Thanks, John. Something else about, you know, in this conversation, we talk about the squeaky wheel. And I think something that's really discouraging for a lot of people is that, you know, if we're on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, that we're getting censored. I mean, I'm running what is a nonprofit organization and I still get shadow banned, and I get my post pulled, and I'm posting a really helpful and wonderful message for people, and I'm still getting pulled. And so it's not just a matter of squeaky wheel and, you know, the not having a voice. It's literally that our voices are being taken away from us on our platform. So, you know, how can we make a difference? How can we get our voices out? We can show up at something like this so we can say, hey, we're real people. We really care about this. We're not just hiding behind our screens. And we need to also create more opportunities for our own media. Something else that we can do to be heard is to participate more in 2A group funded research that we can share with people who are making legislative decisions. Because the information that they're pulling from right now is basically research being funded by our opposition. And so that's all the fresh research that's out there. We can do a better job, and networking at an event like this, we can meet up with other people and we can think about what our clear message will be and how we can support one another. And we can also support independent media. And, if we're attending this event, there's nothing also that's keeping us from contacting our local newspapers and saying, I'm going to this. Can you, is there any scoop that you want me to get? I'm boots on the ground. So there are many different ways that we can help get the word out and be our own voices. And I think we just need to be courageous and do that and not just rely on somebody else to cover it for us.
What G-Webs, you're having a little conversation in the YouTube chat room. Bring us up to light about what's going on.
I guess I'm flying off the handle because I only looked at the last one or whatever, where he's like, you guys have a fun, you kids have a fun chat. Need to go find something more involved. So I didn't even bother to scroll up because that's, lets us know the tone and the connotation there. So the suggestion is that I suspect by simply talking about doing something in the future, it's not active or participatory enough. So if that's the case, where are you pointing the crosshairs, guy? And what's the result of that action, Mr. Soapbox is ineffective? Because it seems like our system has survived 2 world wars and a civil war at least.
Yeah. There's going to be speakers there. If I believe what I hear, it's going to be a 5-minute speeches. I believe. Anybody know that for sure?
That's what I've heard. 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah.
5 to 10 minutes. Yeah. And does anybody know who's going to be speaking?
I know a few people that are supposed to be speaking, but I don't know if they're releasing that as of yet. I'm not sure why.
Yeah. I heard something about a list is coming.
Yeah, I keep hearing a list is coming, but they haven't finalized it yet.
It's probably like we got a bunch of people that want to, and we have 3 hours. So
Yeah.
they probably got to wait till the last possible minute to figure out. Because what's the point of having a bunch of people motivating? Let's say that they're looking out at the spectrum of the crowd there, and it's like a big clock. You don't want to motivate the people at 1 o'clock and forget the people at 7 o'clock, right? You want to have something for everybody that might be there, I suspect. Or take a look at what resources they've got and pick the most effective combination.
Yeah. Going back to real quick to something that was discussed maybe 20 minutes ago about someone made a comment about who's organizing this. And there are people in this room that are very good friends with some of the people that are organizing this. And for those people out there that may be nervous as to, is this going to be a serious thing? There are some extremely serious people in our industry, in our culture, in our community behind this. But like G and Sarah and others had said, they choose not to make it about them. But if you're worried about this being a serious event, there are some extremely serious people that the community all know that are behind this. And they just, like I said, they don't want to make it about them, but they're also doing this as a template. It's like G said, they may not be the ones that are organizing next year, but they're giving us the template and say, someone else needs to run with this. We need to make this a collaborative group. It doesn't need to be held by 1 or 2 people. It needs to be a template for the community to follow. So it is a serious thing, guys.
Very.
Okay. What can people do that cannot be there?
Share everything that you can.
Yep. Publicize it, spread the word. If you can't make it because you don't have the time, funnel a few bucks to somebody who has the time but not the money. Help get boots on the ground there to represent you.
Right. That is a good point. Budget, guns, and gear review. I'm going to drop you for 1 second. I'm going to bring in somebody else, and I'll bring you back. Okay, I'm not really sure how to drop people in this program. So.
Down at the bottom, click on when they hover over them, click on the minus.
Okay. It's a new program.
Can I throw mine in there? You can impress us. So what can you do to get people there? Try something new. This is an opportunity to change the rules. So think outside boxes and get as many people there as you can. If you're motivated by self-interest and greed, then get people there and make money. If you're motivated by something else, get people there for that motivation, but change the playing field, disrupt it, impress me, impress us all. Change it. If you're so good and you've got such great ideas that you're going to leave the conversation because we're just so minute, impress us. Show us how it's done. Educate us. We're all going to follow your lead.
All right. I brought in Duff's Cowboy here, Matt. He helps me with all my podcasts and everything.
Welcome.
I'm going to throw the question to him. I know he has a very, very strong stance on this. Matt, or Duff Cowboy, what can people do to safeguard their Second Amendment? And what can they do to help?
Okay, I just want to first build off the squeaky wheel. Or if you want to be a squeaky wheel, if you want to get involved, you don't have to go outside your own cities or your counties. There's a lot of things going on, especially here in Virginia, battleground state. There's a lot of gun violence going on around the city council. Just by showing up and introducing them to the fact, saying, hey, this is not right, that can go a very long way, because the local communities, the local, your cities and counties, they're the foundation that support the state. The state supports the federal government. So just by getting involved, just going to your city councils, just going to your county councils and saying, hey, I don't agree with this. These rates are not what we need to be supporting here. Our governor, our area representative for the state, our state senators, they aren't representing what they should be, because that is what the foundation of the country is built upon, is the foundation. So by just getting involved with the foundations, you can make a huge difference.
That's good. Sarah, I'm going to kick it over to you. Should people carpool, or if they can't afford to go by themselves or can't get there by themselves for whatever reason, should people carpool or try to set up carpools or set up their own Facebook groups to try to get there?
That's a great rhetorical question there, John. I think the answer I'm going to have to go with is yes. There are plenty. The other cool thing is, like even if you go on like Facebook, there's groups for carpooling and that kind of a thing. I'm sure that something like that could be organized too. So yeah, Waze even has on their app, like, do you want to carpool with other people? And they help connect. So there's a lot of cool things out there where people can say, hey, this is where I'm coming from, and ride with me, and have great conversation on the way there.
Yeah. The reason why I brought that up is because G-Webs brought up I think Friday, about carpooling and how, like, when you go on a road trip with someone, you get to really know them and you can have a lot of fun. You can make a whole trip out of it. Obnoxious. You said you're going with one of your other friends?
No, I am going solo. My sister lives in the area, and I have not seen my almost 2-year-old niece. So I am going up Friday night to spend the night with her and the family there, and then I'm going in. Budget is going with, I think, 5 other guys or 4 other guys.
It's Budget. All right, Budget. Let me kick it over to you, then I'll go back to Obnoxious really quick. Budget. Are you guys going to make more of a road trip? Or are you going to stop on the way, or you just are on the way back? Or are you just going to drive here, hang out, do the tourist thing the next day, then drive straight back?
It's going to depend on what the other guys want to do, as far as whether, because one of the guys is coming from Michigan. He's driving from Michigan Friday night overnight to where we're leaving from the rally point, and then he's going to sleep while I'm driving out there. So it's going to depend on what those guys want to do. If they want to stop and do some other things, I know that we're going to take 2 vehicles, and then we rented an Airbnb. We went together with that. So really it's costing us $45 a piece for a night's lodging in DC in the Capitol Hill neighborhood. And plus whatever the fuel cost is and our eats and such. So that really brings the cost down to something very manageable by grouping together like that. I can't claim credit for that idea. I stole that from Clover Tack's approach to going to Wanamaker and the NRA meeting and whatnot. Hey, steal good ideas, right? So that's what I did.
Yeah, that is a good point. Obnoxious. Are you going to use this to network with people as well? Or activists and whatnot? Or
I'm anybody that I meet there is probably people that I already know. Like if I meet Budget there or Ghost shows up, I know most of the people that, well, I guess I would know most of the people that I know that are going. So
You can come meet me. I'll be there.
I will definitely look for you. Just look for the fat guy in an orange Every Second Matters shirt, and that looks just like my avatar, and that will be me.
I'll be looking for you.
And he is not lying when he says that. It looks just like him.
Mm-hmm. A little more gray in the actual beard than what I was allowed to do with that avatar, but
and Ghost Tactical, what have you done personally to try to push the Second Amendment rally?
I mean, I've had several podcasts. I've done videos for the 2A rally. They asked me to do a quick video on Instagram, so I did one of those. I did a flyer. Someone was asking about a flyer last week, so I came up with a quick flyer.
Yes.
I mean, it's not just most, and it's really weird to say, what have I done? I haven't done anything in comparison to most people, but I think that all of us collectively have done a lot to do our own promotion somehow, some way. And that's what it's all about. It's not about one person. I love seeing 2A rallies Instagram, because they have so many people doing these videos, and they've got people doing this and posts, and everyone sharing everything. And we talked about a fractured community, and I don't see it. I mean, yes, and it's like Budget or Obnoxious, I can't remember which one it said. We're all going to have differences. We're all going to have different backgrounds and belief systems, but we can all believe that we're American, and we're all gun owners, and we're all Second Amendment advocates. And the fact that everyone in a very short amount of time seems to be getting on this, if there are fractures, maybe this is a healing process for us.
All right, I'm going to go back to G-Web, because this question is specifically for him. You are one of the most passionate people I know about this event. Why?
So I thought you were going to ask me what I've done to promote it. So I'm going to ask that one instead. So because what I did to promote it was be skeptical of it, because I looked at it as a web designer and the same as you, someone who cares about our community and what do I say? Like what? Okay, so if there's somebody out there that thinks that what the firearms community online is weak or ineffectual, then I challenge that, because literally I've been around the internet since '97, and there was already well-established gun stuff on there since then. Some of the people that created the internet are familiar with firearms. So firearms have been here for a while. This is something that is unprecedented. I mentioned that before. I've been personally interested in our the firearms, and not just playing with them or exploring them. I've grown up with guns, and I've explored them. I'm not impressed anymore. I've played with them already. I've done all that. I've played with all the mechanical features of them. I'm done being amazed by new things. The things that fascinate me about firearms is how they affect our society and our community, how they are used by the exploiters as a division. But I wouldn't even be here if I didn't understand the core need for education and awareness on firearms, because it is vital to just evil anti stuff to remove firearms. And it's not like we're obsessed with a thing or like we're afraid or something. It's because firearms and the individual freedom that they represent are vital to the individual freedom that this country represents. And that's vital in my belief, at least. Maybe I'm propagandized or warped, but I believe if we didn't have the United States as an example for some of the other things that are out there in the rest of the world, and it doesn't matter if we're an example, because The United States has allowed things like technology to evolve. Firearms themselves created interchangeable parts, and the Industrial Revolution. I'm not sure if firearms themselves created the technical innovation, what's the word? But I wouldn't be surprised if firearms had something to do with it. So what did I do to promote this thing? I came at it with 15 years of skepticism and 40 years of passion. And if this was BS, I don't make a dime off of anything I do. If this was BS, no one can pay me enough. No one can dupe me enough. No one can bullshit me enough to promote something that's garbage. I see nothing but opportunity here. I know that we are a community, we're a country of valid people, and there's outside sources. You can consider outside sources to mean outside our community. I consider them potentially to mean outside our borders. There are people that are using a free information system to dupe and manipulate people that are just not familiar yet. They're not capable. They're not comfortable with the communications online. We, specifically us, the people that are able technically and, able to have these kind of conversations and stuff, and then talk to people in real life who are passionate about firearms or our freedoms. Like, this is something that we've never had an opportunity to do before. So I'm not one to just accumulate and give acknowledgement or credit or anything for someone who's been places a bunch of times. I'm not just looking for certificates or nothing. I'm not acquiring property. I'm not looking to get rich or famous. Most of you don't even know who the fuck I am. Excuse me, am I allowed to swear in here?
You can do whatever you want.
Sorry
I'm
about
monetized, so.
This is about a potential for freedom for the democratic republic that we are, to exercise what we really want. This is something that is unprecedented, and that's why I'm so passionate about it, and that's what I've done to vet it. And yeah, I don't care. You're not paying me nothing. So if you think I'm wrong, go there and prove me wrong. Get all kinds of pictures of what a weak, lame event it'll be, but I suspect you're going to be surprised and you're going to be enthusiastic. I've been to places like Gun Rights Policy. I can remember going to SHOT Show in 2004 as a noob and walking around and going, wow, this is amazing. This is incomprehensible. This is the fifth, at the time, it was the fifth largest convention, I think, or maybe the second largest in Vegas. It's like now the fifth largest convention in Vegas. That's the industry. That's us. It might seem huge, but there's only a couple of thousand people that run this industry. And there's a whole bunch of people out there, and we've got tech to bring us all together. And this is a thing that can help with all of that. So this is 3-4 weeks worth of opportunity for people to work together and plan. This is literally a month out. And then think about what the world's going to be like once everyone has gotten together and had that experience. And, oh man, just can't even think of all the repercussions. The ripples of this are amazing. Media is never going to be able to suggest the same platitudes and BS marginalizations that they threw on gun owners. They just aren't going to be able to do that because we're never going to let them forget this event. Imagine if Woodstock had a bunch of cell phones. That's what this has the potential to be.
Hey, John, I just want to say I don't appreciate you bringing G in and letting him do it like 17 mic drops. I just want to say that.
Yeah. G, we should just have like G just talk the whole entire time, and the rest of us can sit there nodding.
I want you guys too to think about, and we saw this in Pennsylvania at the Harrisburg, the hearings, the Pennsylvania Senate Judiciary Committee hearings, and the rallies we had there. There are groups who have paid volunteers who show up at these events. Out here we had Moms Demand Action, we had Ceasefire PA, we had Everytown, and they're not really volunteering to be there. They're actually getting paid to be there. And just to G-Web's point, like, this is an opportunity for Americans, with no particular affiliation, to show up and speak up for freedom. And it's such a beautiful thing. And I really hope that it is a catalyst for change, and that people will realize that we have that power to exercise those rights in America. And it's just a beautiful thing.
Okay, I'm going to go to Obnoxious, then I want to hit up Ghost Webs really fast. But Obnoxious, not Ghost Webs.
No one knows about a legitimate channel that we.
That's our secondary channel people don't know about. That's on the down low.
Obnoxious, you took. G's talking so much that everyone gets confused with them. Obnoxious, you took a bunch of flyers that Ghost Tactical designed, and what did you do with those?
I spent about 5 hours out on Friday and about 4 hours or so out on Saturday riding around to the local gun shops and passing those out and getting them to post them up. And I am planning to head out again tomorrow and hit the last few in the area and get them to post them up there too. So, and Ghost does some awesome graphic design work. I mean, Ghost made his logo, which you can't see right now because he's just got his little white guy on there. But yeah, Ghost posted them up on his Instagram account, and you can go over and get it from there. And I went out to FedEx Kinko's and had 20 of them printed up, and I've been just cruising around trying to get them posted and get them put up so that people in the area would know that it was going on, other than just people online.
Okay, so it was posted to Ghost's Instagram account.
Yep.
I was going to ask, how can people get a copy of the flyers to do the same thing that you were doing? But you said it's on his Instagram, so Ghost.
It's on his, and I believe I stole it and posted it on mine as well. Yep. The one
it's on my Instagram, it's on Facebook, and if anybody wants a PDF copy of it, shoot me an email at live@ghosttactical.us, and I'll email it to anybody that wants it. I mean, and it's not official. I don't want anything to this is official. This was not something that 2A Rally asked me to do. This was something that I had people wanting to do, so I came up with one. But I do believe that a couple of people that are behind the website said they are going to have a spot on their website, hopefully soon, if it's not already up, that will have some flyers that they're coming up with also. So make your own. That's also something you can do is, if you can't find one, you don't want to use mine, that's fine. That's the whole part. If you can't make it, come up with a flyer of your own and take it to your local gun shops. Get involved in this in the process,
All right. People that want to sign up, register for the rally can do so at secondamendmentrally.com. That's with a 2. So it's 2ndamendmentrally.com. I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping up here. I'm going to kick it off to G-Webs. So G-Webs, you have the floor. You can say whatever you want. You can plug whatever you want or whatnot.
Oh, great. Here we go.
I'll make it short. We're closing it up. So I'm watching Trigger Warning 2A on the other channel. Sorry. So thanks for the opportunity to chat and to talk to the audience and to encourage people to think about this as more than just another badge or feather in the hat. So often, especially with social media and the way people perceive people's lives and influencers and all that craziness, they think that these are just events that, somehow we get some sort of credit points or something like Chinese social points for attending events and trying to soup them up, or because that's us, we're capitalists, right? We want to make money, and that's valid. We're allowed to do that. This is something that we're going to use those talents, I suppose, and those skills, but we're going to use them for good or whatever. We're going to use them for awareness and letting those people who are on the fence in this coming election year make it really difficult for them, to ignore just what the real gun community is. And then, I've got a project going on Indiegogo. If you want to check that out, feel free. And then I'm trying to get there with patches. I sell stuff over at a store called Gear Website, so I'll throw a link out there. Appreciate it. And but if whatever, you're going to get a lot of other ideas on what to do. I'm going to leave it with consider this week a week to plan and prep. We got 2 weeks to do, and then a week to travel and make it happen. So everyone's in the same boat, and we can really change things.
All right, I'm going to kick it over to Sarah, but before I kick it over to Sarah, I just want to say her organization, which I'm sure she's going to plug, is something I believe deeply in. Being one who suffers from generalized anxiety disorder and panic attack disorder, I can really, really get behind what she's doing, even though I don't suffer from depression or anything that would need her organization. Maybe I will one day, and I'm glad it's out there. And I think a lot of people can be helped by it. So I'm going to kick it over to Sarah. You can say whatever you want.
Wow. Thank you,
plug
Tom.
your organization, though.
Thank you. You can find us online at holdmyguns.org, and we have the 2A rally up on our events page, as well as some other upcoming events, including Gunathon in April of next year. We plan to have a booth there, so we'll see you guys there at that. And you can check out all of our different interviews, including a article that John wrote in Ammo Land about Hold My Guns, and we really appreciate that. That has just really been helpful to get the word out. For anyone who doesn't know, we are a crisis firearms storage program launching across the United States soon, and our goal is to help people to get the help that they need, and to do it in a voluntary way before things hit the fan. And if we can do that, then, you know, we were talking a little bit ago about red flag laws and terrible things like that don't involve due process. And our goal is to create something that is voluntary. We're utilizing storage at gun shops. So this is a very 2A friendly anti-red flag solution to the concern that when a person is severely depressed and having suicidal ideations, that they have a place to store their firearms voluntarily while they get help and sort things out, and then they're able to pick them up when they feel the time is right. That is not involving, law enforcement or anybody else. That it's a program that is it promotes self-governance. And I also want to say that our hope is that as we have offered this solution that involves self-governance, that we really hope that it's a catalyst for change for people in other industries. I'm a range safety officer. Genevieve Jones of the Gun Collective is my co-founder, and she's also an RSO and an instructor. And so our hope is that people in other industries as well are inspired by what we're doing, and that they come up with self-governance options to solve the issues within their own industries and keep the government out of things.
Awesome. Thank you. Budget Guns and Gear, you're on the clock, and go.
First off, I'd like to say thank you for having me on. I've enjoyed this chat tonight. This is an important topic. You know, I think that the most important thing that people can take from this is that, as Pincus has been saying over and over, any place that will let him, we are the gun lobby, and we need to act like it. You know, I think that the NRA, GOA, SAF, all of those organizations have their place. They're very necessary. They all do good work. Well, some of them better lately than others, but they all have their place. But we, the individual gun owners, we need to get up and stand up and let our voices be heard. Think of this. There are over 100 million of us in this country. If 1/10 of 1% of us showed up at this rally, what kind of powerful message would that make? You know, what kind of statement would that give to those who would propose to strip us of our rights? You know, think about that, folks. So let's do everything that we can to make this happen. As far as where to find my stuff, I'm here on YouTube as Budget Guns and Gear Reviews, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Gunstreamer as Budget Guns and Gear. You can find my stuff on, I write for gearreport.com and on my own website as well, budgetgunsandgear.com. And I do a live stream here on YouTube every Friday night, 11:30 p.m. Eastern, called The Right of the People, where we use the first to defend the second. And I think that's it. That's all my plugs.
I just want to say, Seven Wonders. I think you said Steve. I almost called you Stevie Wonder, but Seven Wonders, you make me cry. Okay, I'm going to kick it over to Ghost Tactical.
Yeah, John, thanks for having me on, John. I really appreciate it. It's a great conversation. Love being around these people. These people are my friends. But there's a lot of people out there. I don't like to plug. I don't do plug. There's a inner joke about, but I don't like to plug. So I'm just going to say this. I'll plug the Bill of Rights. Allow yourself to go read the Bill of Rights. Understand what the 4th, the 5th, all of the Bill of Rights. The First Amendment is unbelievably probably the most important piece of writing that's ever been written in the world. When you talk about freedom of speech, religion, press, how to express yourself. Yes, the Second Amendment is great. Understand what the 27 words of the Second Amendment truly mean, and it doesn't mean what it meant to them. You got to figure out what the 27 words means to you. And once you figure out what the Bill of Rights means to you, then you're ready. But if you've never read the Bill of Rights, you've never really looked at what our founding fathers truly meant for our country, then I challenge everyone to make sure that you catch up on history, find out what our country is based upon, the foundation, as someone said. Find out what it means to you personally, and are you willing to fight for those rights? And if you are, then get to Washington.
All right. And obnoxious.
Well, I am not as classy as Ghost, and I will plug my stuff. So,
Well,
thanks,
man, let's go for it.
thanks for having me on. Go check out my channel, Obnoxious One, here on the YouTube. You can also find me under Obnoxious One at Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Really don't bother with Twitter because I'm never over there. I just basically feed my Instagram and my YouTube videos over there. So I'm not over there because Twitter is just a giant cesspool. But thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be going up there and going to this. I've been taking it kind of easy because I was in Illinois up until May of last year. So I lived through the fight up there, and I got into this, a little bit before we moved there. I've been doing YouTube videos for about a year and a half now, maybe a little longer, and got into it because of Military Arms Channel. And he's the one that got me to make my first awkward, awful video. But I honestly keep doing them because of people like Ghost and G-Webs and the people I've met in this community. So for those of you out there who wonder why the hell I'm still around here, that's who you can blame.
All right. I guess it's my turn. First, I want to plug my son. You can buy popcorn, which I'm going to throw up the link on the screen at crumpy.com/scout, and it will redirect to his popcorn page. He's a scout and he's trying to get some Amazon gift cards. So go ahead and buy popcorn. Do it for the troops, because you can buy popcorn and give to the troops, or you can give to me on patreon.com/John Crump. One of the cool things that we're doing is we're trying to raise money to buy a single mom a firearm and get her firearms training. I haven't decided how we're going to pick the mom. Maybe have them write in or something like that. You can find me on YouTube at John Crump 2. You might be watching me on YouTube, or you can find me on Facebook at Real John Crump, Instagram Real John Crump, Twitter at CrumpySS. We also have Black Swan Tactical Prep, which is Black Swan Media Group's YouTube page, which is also broadcasting too. And I'm going to throw out a little contest. The first person that contacts me at Real John Crump at Facebook and tells me the gun that GM produced will win a free 1-year membership to GOA. It's not really free. I pay for it, but you will get a 1-year membership to GOA. So the gun that GM produced. No hints. All right. That's it for tonight. We'll be back later on in the week with another Fireside Chats and also a Patriot News show on Thursday. And we really want to do this. Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention that in the Twitch people. We really want to do this like once a week. Like Mayhem Monday or something like that. I haven't really decided what to name it, but yeah, it's like a roundtable chat. All right, that is it for me tonight, and I will see you guys later.